Hello everyone, I'm Brian and today I'm doing a reaction to Does God Exist? Krishnamurti. So I've wanted to do this one because I've done one with Osho and I've done one with Sadhguru. And I do believe this is going to be another one of the people that I will also be reacting to. So I want to get his point of view on this. I've said mine, which was no, I don't think God exists. Especially the ones that the religious people believe in. You know, the omniscience, omnipotent deities. The definition of a god, does it exist? I don't think so. There's no way to know for sure, but based on what I've known and what I think a lot of people know, I don't think so, outside of the religions. So anyways, let's go ahead and hear what he has to say. Oh, CC. Gotta turn that on.
Kindly give a straight reply.
Sixth question.
Does God exist or not? Yes or no?
Is there a being out there that is God? Not in terms of religion. Don't know for sure. Cannot answer that. As far as the knowledge that I have obtained and that I have witnessed, no, there is not. As far as the religious gods, as in, you know, the different deities, gods out there for the different religions, they don't exist because they are omnipotent and omniscient and omnipotent, I believe that's the correct word. All powerful and all knowing.
If yes, how best to realize Him in this life? It's a lovely question, isn't it? Kindly give a straight reply. Does God exist or not? Yes or no? If yes, how best to realize Him in this life?
Uh-oh.
Man, throughout history, from the ancient Greeks, from the ancient Sumerians, have this idea of God.
I would say gods. They believe in multiple gods. I don't know if they ever one true god. There were, I forgot what they call them, poly-religious or whatever it's called.
Right? I'm not at all sure whether in the Upanishads and whether they mention God at all. Or is it a later invention? You understand? So, what is God?
What is God? That's a different question. And for my answer for that one is, it is, I think I said this before, I'm sure I have, it's a way for us to comprehend the universe before science was there. I mean, science has always been there, but we didn't know how to understand Earth, the storms, the flooding, the animals, and all that. So, in order to explain that, to ease our mind, in a sense, I do believe, is to have a outside force controlling it, so that you can say, oh, you know, it's why is it flooding? And you're like, well, you angered the gods. So in order to not flood, you have to please the gods. Also, men have created it to took advantage of that belief to control people, to say, like, if you don't worship me or if you don't donate to the church or whatever, God will not look good upon you. I guess that's a good way to say it.
We are investigating. I'm not attacking God. I'm not denying God, but we are investigating whether there is such a thing as God. Who invented it? God. Did God invent us? Did God create us? Right? God, who is omnipotent, omniscience, eternal, merciful, justice, all goodness. Right? That's your concept of God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes.
And if you say He has created us, then we are part of His image. We are part of Him. That is, we are omniscient, generous, loving, right?
To a degree we are.
And eternal. Right? Are we? Or we think we are. You understand my question? If God created you, He must be an extraordinary entity, because He wants you to lead a terrible life. You understand my question? If God made you, why are you like this? You must be extraordinary human beings, mustn't you?
Maybe.
Beautiful, full of joy, excitement, full of delight. But you're not.
That's, I guess he's going under the assumption of what people believe God to be, which I know he was. I don't know why it just made me think that, but if God is everything good and great and He created you, you should be full of this good and greatness as well, but you're not.
So either you have created God, or God has created you. But if you examine very closely, you have created God. Right? In India, I was told there are about 300,000 gods and more.
I'm laughing because it seems ridiculous. 300,000 gods. Good Lord. I mean, how in the world do you keep up with so many gods? But, I mean, to each their own.
Huh? Every local person has his own God. So, sirs, we have created God. See the irony of it. Thought has created God, and then thought worships the image which thought has created, which is to worship oneself and call it God. You understand all this?
And that's where kind of manipulation happens, in my opinion, too, is because there are people out there who don't see themselves as God, but because they've been taught this, and the people who believe that they believe what you're saying basically is that they see themselves as God, and therefore controlling people because of this belief in themselves of God and the belief that people have of God, but they don't see themselves as gods, are getting controlled. I don't think that makes sense, because I just thought of that. It kind of makes sense to me. Is this idea of God that the people who see themselves as God used to control people who believes in God. Both believe in God, but one sees more of themselves as gods, whereas the one that's being controlled believes in this God, but not as themselves as gods. I hope that makes sense.
The better part of you is God. Right?
Yes.
I wonder if you understand this.
Absolutely, 100%.
First of all, let's be clear. Have you created God? the local gods round the corner,
Around the
or
corner.
the local god in Rome or in Tirupati or wherever. You have created them, haven't you? Huh? You're so very uncertain, aren't you? So frightened. If you say we have created, then you are scared stiff. Because you have created out of your fear that.
Yes, actually, yes.
Out of your fear, you want security. Right? You want safety. You want to feel there is somebody looking after you.
That's what I said a little bit earlier, which was the fact, the way to explain the world so that we understand it better, because if we don't understand it, we fear it. So to make the world less scary, if you want to understand it, when you understand something, you fear it less. I didn't think about the part where someone's looking after you though, but that is true too. It'd be nice if there's a higher being out there that's looking after your well-being, or punishing those who have wronged you.
Because you are afraid. You follow?
Huh?
So you create that and then worship that. Just see what you are doing. Going to Tirupati and putting all your money in the bag.
The donations.
Do you think God wants your money?
No, the church does though.
So look at it all.
He has no need for your money.
You have nothing but to offer but money. Garlands, prostrations, rituals. Right? You have nothing else to offer. Have you realized the tragedy of this earth? If you love not God, that's very easy to love God.
Love God
Because
out of
it's so an
fear.
abstraction, it has not much meaning.
Huh.
But if you loved, that very love is God, that very love is sacred. You won't go outside to look for God. You understand all this earth?
Not quite.
And the questioner wants to know, if I believe in God, I don't. Because God is not something created by man. There is such thing as eternity, which is to be outside of time. Yes, sir. For that you must have a mind, a heart that is completely free from all the burdens of life. Right? From your vanity, your arrogance, your selfishness. You follow, sir?
So far, what I'm getting, at least from this little bit, I'm still not. There's some aspects of his that I didn't quite understand. If you find love, you won't go outside looking for God. I'm not sure what he means by that. I guess once you love being God, and once you find it, you don't have to go outside to look for it. Not, I guess, like to not necessarily go just literally outside, but to go find God somewhere else, like in a church or in someone, but you find it within yourself. Maybe that's what he means. I need confirmation or denial of that, whether maybe I didn't get it right or maybe I did kind of understand it. And then, oh, I gotta rewind that last part.
A heart that is completely free from all the burdens of life.
That was weird, it was bouncing.
right?
Gotta rewind a
Thing
little
is eternity, which is to be outside of time. Yes, sir. For that you must have a mind, a heart that is completely free from all the burdens of life. Right?
So that part, completely free from all burdens of life, and this relates back to Sadhguru removing identities, to me anyway. I'm hoping I'm understanding that correctly, that this is something that both of them have said, and basically when you remove all identities from yourself, that's when you can be free from the suffering of life, that you can be genuinely happy, you can live life. And also, so I'm trying to think so much, and it's all jumbled up, kinda. But basically, there so far Osho, Osho, I have not really picked up that part of his yet. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he has, but I have not realized it yet with him. He, or at least the videos that I've watched, has not said that about removing identities. He seems a bit different, and again, he was talking along the lines of wanting that mixture between Eastern and Western philosophies. So the Eastern philosophy so far that I'm understanding is the removal of identity. Removal identity being that of burdens, like your identity as whatever country you're from, or your if your name is popular because of your parents or whatever, and your identity as your job and what you have to do, because all these identities can be burdens in you. When you remove all burdens, when you remove all identities, is when you can finally truly live life happily, bliss, like said Guru. Osho, on the other hand, I don't think he's talked too much of this, because he's a little bit different that I noticed. You know, he loves luxury. Nothing wrong with luxury. I agree. Nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's all based on the person. I mean, look, if you earned it and you want to spend your money however the way you want, that's perfectly fine. But don't be arrogant about it. That's the thing. So 365 Rolls Royce, Jesus, in a fancy bathroom. Oh, man, let's not talk about the bathroom part. Anyways, but yeah, that's the thing I've noticed about him and Sadhguru so far, about the removal of identity, the removal of burden.
From your vanity, your arrogance, your selfishness. You follow, sir?
Identities, which...
And we say, well, I'm not capable of it. Tell us what to do. You're back in the cycle. Somebody to tell you what to do. So you are in a jungle, you have to walk through it by yourself. Right?
And that's where, well, I don't know if it's going to answer that a little bit later on, but this is where I'm like, not necessarily. You can get guidance, but ultimately you have to make the decisions in your life. I do like the idea of Sadhguru saying that, you know, they give you tools, but it's up to you and how you use that tools. And that's one thing also, again, I love about, I don't know if it's Eastern philosophy or Sadhguru himself, but it's the fact that they don't tell you how to live your life. You must listen to a whole bunch of gurus out there and find out what best works for you. Love that a lot, honestly, because in religion on the Western side is very strict. You must live your life like this. You must follow these rules. You must believe in this. You must disregard everything else. You cannot follow anything else other than this. And that's terrible, because there's no, I do not believe there's one path for everyone. There are many different paths that everyone can take that's better for them.
And for that you need vitality and vigor and strength. Not in belief in God, in goodness. Belief has no place where truth is concerned.
Yes.
Right?
Belief is it's having faith, and faith is there's no, I don't know how to describe that. Faith and belief to me is basically there's nothing factual about it. You're just saying good luck, kind of like that, you know. It's like, I don't know if you're gonna win or not, but good luck. I have faith in you. Best wishes. Hope you don't get hurt, kind of deal. Whereas, you know, I don't know. Faith just leaves it up to too much unknown. Faith and trying are two different things to me. Trying, at least you are putting effort into it. Faith is like, well, I'm just gonna leave it alone to some degree.
Huh?
Atman, about which we have been hearing even many percent in the past. Atman.
Who is that?
Oh no.
The conscience inside each of us.
Who is Atman?
So the conscience,
Huh?
the conscience inside each of us.
Is conscience Atman?
What they call as soul.
What's that?
What they call as soul.
Soul. Which soul? The soul of a shoe? Or soul? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we are Atman.
At last you're all getting excited. Because your belief is being attacked. You are not meeting the challenge, but you are resisting it. You think there is something inside you which is permanent, which is the light of God, which is nameless, etc., etc. Call it Atman, soul, light, whatever you like to call it. That there is inside you, in your conscience, in your brain, in your mind, something which is not worldly, which is not a thought, right? You believe that, don't you? Huh? Yes, sir?
No, I don't believe it.
Huh?
I don't believe it.
Why?
There is no such thing.
How do you know?
Sorry.
Just believe, believe, believe. What kind of brains have you, sirs? Don't you want to find out? Don't you want to investigate into the truth of this matter? Whether there is soul, Atman, whatever you like to call it, don't you want? Just believe. What if you believe, what value has it? See, suppose I believe I've got Atman or whatever it is, super Atman, I'll call it. I believe in that. And what value has it?
Does it do anything for you, I guess?
In my daily life,
What part does it play? Yeah.
what part does it play? I'm miserable, I'm confused, I'm lonely, anxious, in agony. What's the point of my having a belief in Atman?
I guess to answer that question, maybe, I'm not sure, but this is how I would assume that answer. So the soul. Because you have this soul and you're suffering now because of whatever it is, but knowing that your soul will go to heaven and live in eternal bliss will give you an ease, knowing that you may be suffering now, but when you pass away, you'll be in eternal bliss. So that's the reason for the belief,
If
I
I'm
think.
free from all that, completely, then I shall find out. But to suppose if it becomes so childish, for God's sake. And we're all grown-up people. Jobs, children, wives.
But you said some timeless
to attain something, it requires agency. You can't just by intuition, just like that, you cannot understand what is all the concept.
Oh,
You have to dedicate yourself to
What's I don't understand yourself. What is
so many great people.
Ramana Maharshi and who?
Ramakrishna,
What? Oh, all right, sir. What about them? What about them?
so they live a simple life and they advocated something, and you dedicate yourself and detach yourself from the mundane type of life, then only you will attain something. Because we are being in this mundane, this disturbed world, is it possible to not to believe that unless we implement it, we can attain something? Being in a disturbed world, I think we are just believing each and other, going in a superficial ways and different ways and this way and that way. All the real religion says you will discover yourself.
Sir, would you forget all these people? Including Ramana Maharshi, what if the other gentleman was? Would you forget them? What value has their life to you? You have your life to live, not their life. God, what kind? And when the people say they have attained, what have they attained? How do you know?
I guess you don't.
You also said there's some timeless eternity.
Ah, I have said it, sir.
Oh, what?
Don't believe it.
Okay, and that's the thing I had too, is the question, like, he believes in this eternity that is in a sense of an unattainable area. I'm glad someone asked it, but then he confused me with, I don't, oh wait, he didn't say I don't believe it, it says don't believe it. I'm sorry, but that's good though, that's good, honestly. And that's something I always say to people around me. It's like, you know, if I ever tell you anything, don't automatically believe me. Definitely fact check everything I say. Take what I say into consideration, but don't automatically believe me. Please do not do that. You know, if it makes sense to you and you want to use it, you have to make that choice. You have to decide whether you want to do what I say or not. But don't do it because I said it. And like you said, he believes in this eternity, but that doesn't mean you have to believe it. I love that. I bet you he's confusing people too. It's like, what? You just said you believe this, and you don't want us to believe that. Yeah, there you go.
It's
That's
not fair, I know. It's not quite fair. But, sir, just listen.
I'm guessing he's going to say, because this is what I believe, that you must find something that you believe. You must. Someone made a comment. I can't remember names. I'm terrible with names, and I want to reply to your comments in the video because it's so hard to just type it up. There's so much, and but it's to seek for yourself the answer. The problem is, for me, with that one, is the fact that I think it was in one of the Buddha videos, is to seek the answer for yourself, because Buddha said to a believer of God that God does not exist, and therefore the towns was praising, oh, God does not exist. Then a non-believer comes up and said, does God exist? And it says, yes, God exists. Then the town was back miserable again. It's like, what the heck is going on here? And it's basically what you guys have said. I trust me, I try to read as much of the comments as possible. I try to reply. I want to reply to every single one of you, but it's just so many. Trust me, I at least read them at the very least. And it's the fact that to seek for yourself the answer. Do not, in a sense, don't ask other people for what their answer is and to believe in their answer. You must find the answer for yourself, which I absolutely love. And I genuinely believe that. That's why I always say take what people say into consideration, but you must find an answer for yourself. Now you can choose, as more people say the same thing, you might say, okay, I choose to believe that because, well, you shouldn't say because everyone else has said it, but it makes the most sense to you, and that is the answer that you finally, hopefully, seeked out for yourself. And basically that's what he's saying, is that I'm thinking he's going to go in there and say, seek the answer for yourself. I have found this answer for myself, and therefore it is my answer. You must seek out for your own answer. I said a lot there. I should have slimmed that down a little bit.
So, truth is that it's something you cannot experience.
Can't experience truth. Okay, that's confusing.
It cannot be told to you.
I agree with that.
Word is not that.
Well, to a degree, I
But
believe in
if
that.
you live on words, it's that.
I get what you're
You
saying.
understand?
Yes.
The word is not that. Like the word tree is not the tree. I can describe eternity, blah, blah, blah. But the word is not that. But we are satisfied with the word. Right, sir? You love with your heart, with your mind, with everything that you have. You love somebody. And you tell me of that love. And I accept the words, but have no, the flower isn't there, the perfume isn't there. You see, sirs, you have leaders, religious leaders and political leaders. I don't know why you have leaders at all. Ramakrishna, whatever we call gurus that you have had, one after the other, right? This country is full of them. And why do you follow? You understand?
Maybe maybe follow is not the right word, but maybe obtaining tools so that you can create your own path. So I don't necessarily follow Sadhguru or Osho or Krishnamurti. Good Lord, that is a huge name. I don't think I could ever remember that. Or Swami. But I learn from them, and from what I learned from them, I create my own path. Now, my path may seem very similar to Sadhguru's or to Swami or to Krishnamurti. Please let me know if I'm saying that correctly. If not, please tell me how to say that correctly. I wonder what the J is. It might be a simpler. It might be J. His name, first name J. I will name him J. That way I can at least pronounce his name decently. But yeah. So my path may be very similar to Sadhguru's or Osho or Swami or his J. I don't know what the J stands for. I need to look it up. But yeah, it's just the fact that I listen to understand, to better my understanding of the world, to better my way of life. I like to say that, way of life. My way of life probably won't be similar to anyone else's in the world. Everyone's way of life will probably be a little bit different in one way or another, and that's perfectly fine. We each must find our way, and the gurus around the world will hopefully, or any wise philosophers, gurus, teachers, whatever, will hopefully give us the tools to properly allow us to properly find our way.
If once you realize that you are responsible entirely for yourself.
Absolutely. If you follow anyone and your life doesn't go the way you like it to be, you cannot blame anyone but yourself on that. Absolutely. Take responsibilities for your action. You cannot blame Sadhguru, you cannot blame Osho, you cannot blame Swami, you cannot blame this political leader, you cannot blame this. Well, now mind you, political leaders have like ways of arresting you, but in terms of what you can control, you are responsible for your life and you can make a lot of changes. Sadhguru has said this, and I genuinely do believe it.
That you are in a jungle literally in a jungle, where you have to make your own way up. There is nobody to lead you. Then
I
you
agree.
forget all this. The examples, the books, everything, because you've got vitality, strength to go through. But the moment you depend on leaders, you become weak.
Yes, you. I maybe I don't know if he's saying this in a particular way, but I don't necessarily agree with saying that you follow these leaders, but you can listen to these gurus or leaders as a means of tools to provide for you to get out of this jungle, to make your way through this jungle. But ultimately, you have to make this way. You have to make your way through this jungle.
If once you realize it in your heart, not just intellectually, then you are a man, human being, free to walk straight. But we don't want all that.
It's just easier to follow. It's
Yeah.
so easy.
It's so simple when you think of it all.
Oh, the cheese. Yeah, people don't taking responsibility for your actions so hard. Even though the way he says it, it is simple, but people find that so difficult. People find it difficult taking responsibility for their own actions, their own lives. People find it easy to follow because, well, people tell you what to do and you do it. You don't have to think for yourself. You don't have to take actions for yourself. You don't have to take responsibility for your actions because you're following someone. You can blame that person. But that might be the problem of this world, or yeah, well, some of the problems of this world. Well, yeah. Oh, I just think. Anyways, I just sat there and really did think about some things. But yes, he did go into a lot of different things with just this one question, especially with about taking responsibility, taking control over your life. Not merely just does God exist to. How such a simple question really expanded, and I have seemed to expanded this video so long again. So I'm gonna stop it right here. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.